Hey everyone, today we are going to be talking about using a crossbow scope with first strikes. And to start off with, if you're looking for a scope, if you want to use a scope with first strikes, literally anything will work. You know, anything will scope. You can make anything work. But the benefit of crossbow scopes is the fact that crossbow bolts have a very similar trajectory to paintballs when you fire them. They're, remarkably heavy, so they have a very distinct parabola through the air when you shoot it. And a lot of crossbow scopes, you can actually adjust the FPS on them, which is super, super helpful. Some of them can only go down to 300 FPS, so if you are shooting at a lower velocity than that, it's not going to be exactly on, but we actually have one here that goes down to 275 at its lowest. This is a Vortex Crossfire 2 scope. I don't think it really matters what brand or what make of scope it is, as long as you can adjust the FPS to the velocity that you shoot. And basically the idea is once you have it set to the same FPS as your marker, then essentially once you zero it in, it's going to stay zeroed to multiple ranges. This one in particular, basically its lowest possible zero is designed to be at around 40 yards, and then it's got little lines underneath it that are marked, 50, 60, 70, etc. So rather than just talk about it a whole bunch, we are going to obviously put it on a marker and take it out to the range. Just a heads up though, we are putting this on an EMF 100 with just the stock barrel, so we're not using a Nemesis or anything rifled or anything like that. So this is not going to be showing off an accuracy test. This is not showing off how accurate it can get. We really just want to show you that once you have it properly zeroed to one of the ranges, if you go out to a further range, it's going to stay zeroed, meaning if you don't get my gist, basically once we zero it at 40, we're going to crack some shots off at 40 yards to show that, it's going 40 yards. Then we're going to push the target out to 50 yards, and then hopefully, should everything go properly, then essentially it's still going to be on target. But yeah, rather than just talk about it a whole bunch, let's go do it. So to start off, we did use a rangefinder to make sure that our target was exactly 40 yards away, and then we just zeroed a scope like you would zero any other scope. We just basically shot at the target. If it was off, we would adjust and continue, rinse and repeat until we got it basically where it was landing on the bullseye every time. Once we were happy with that, then, using the rangefinder again, we push the target out to 50 yards. At this point, now we're using the lower line, the one that's marked 50, and we just basically line that up with the center of the target, and the results speak for themselves. All right, so now we've pushed the target out to 50 yards. All right, so there you have it. As you guys could see, once we pushed the target out to 50 yards, the entire grouping kind of shifted over to the right. That was mostly because of wind. Basically, we just had wind going from left to right pretty much the entire time. But you could see that the range was still accurate. It was still basically hitting around the center of the target at that range. Also, it should be noted that this is just a stock barrel. This is not like a rifled barrel or a Nemesis or anything like that. So the grouping is definitely not as good as it could have been. If you're using a rifled barrel in first strikes, you're going to get a tighter grouping. But, I think you got the point across. I think it shows that once you have it set up with basically the scope and your marker are set to the same FPS, it totally works. And it did not even take long to zero. So, yeah, hope that was helpful. If any of you are looking for a good first strike scope and you don't want to break the bank, you should definitely take a look at a crossbow scope. But do keep in mind, make sure that the crossbow scope can be adjusted to whatever FPS you usually play at. There are some out there that only go down to 300, that's the lowest. So if you play at a field that's 280, not exactly as helpful. So yeah, thought that was pretty neat. You know, what do you guys think? Those of you that use scopes, like what kind of scope do you use? You should let us know in the comments, and thanks for watching.